There are three main types of fear. Okay. And most of it honestly, it's just bad management of our own emotions. Okay. So if you really start to think about most of the fear, it's funny because I was listening to a podcast about this too. I don't remember which one, but most of the fear that we encounter, it's like the fear of something that we think may happen if we do something or don't do something, right? But usually those are like such extreme circumstances that those would never come about, but we get down these little rabbit holes and we let fear deter us from doing the things that we know we need to do. So let's talk about some different types of fear and how we can overcome them. So the first one is called a loss pain. Okay. So this is like, actually fear comes from pain, 3 different types of pain. Okay. The first one is called a loss pain. So obviously I think a lot of you can relate to this, like loss of life, a loss of a relationship. A lot of times this relates to a loss of control. A lot of people are just afraid in general of change because the loss that they experience. Okay. So the focus is like on loss. And that's why we have fear. We're like, well, if I do this, then I'm going to lose that. Okay. Maybe you're afraid of losing sleep. Maybe you're afraid of losing time with your friends. Maybe whatever you're afraid of losing something. So here's the answer to a fear like that. Okay. So first of all, I want you to think to yourself, is this me? And can I identify myself in that at all? Like, am I fearing something here? And then I want you to know that there is an answer. And the answer is, okay, so instead of trying to see this as something that I'm going to lose, or this is going to cause me pain because I'm going to lose something, like for instance, I share the story frequently that I feel like I lost a lot of friends when I first started building this business or people who I thought were friends, because they didn't understand why I couldn't go out on the weekends. They didn't understand why I wouldn't go to an event for 5 hours on a Saturday when that was like my critical like business building time. So if you find that you're experiencing fear because you're afraid that you're going to lose something, then I want you to focus on the gain. What can you gain from this? And you got to remind yourself that the things that you focus on, those are the things that continue to happen in your life too. The second type of fear is derived from a process pain. Now, this is probably what most of you can these next two you can probably relate to more so with your Beachbody business. The process of doing something is going to be hard. It's going to take a lot from you. That it's going to be a big undertaking. That is your process, right? The process of doing the thing is going to create hardship. It's going to create a feeling of powerlessness, right? Because when you're just clocking in and out every day, you feel like you have control over your future, even though that's a totally, completely like false sense of security, right? Because we all know that any job can go away tomorrow. Building your second income, you can be afraid, right, to maybe lose your reputation. I was like, oh my God, people are going to be like running away from me because I have a home-based business, right? Or you could feel like I'm not enough to deal with this. I can't deal with this. Or you can feel like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. This whole process pain, right? But think about it. If we recognize these things about ourselves, then we can start to overcome. The biggest leap for someone to stop focusing on the process pain, the hardship that you're going to endure to get this off the ground, is for you, it says, get them to change and refrain and figure out how can you find joy in the process. And this is probably the number one, is like, well, what if it doesn't work out? All the things that I'm doing, what if that doesn't work? I think we've all felt like that about something in the past. I was really, really struggling with the idea when I became a Beachbody coach of telling people to follow a diet plan. I swore that I would never diet. I swore I would never count a calorie again. I swore that I would never refrain or not refrain, but not allow myself to have certain things. I swore I would never do it again, right? Because I didn't want to go down that mental path again. And I was afraid of going in that same direction. So I had this whole outcome pain, this fear that if I focused on nutrition, that I was going to become psychotic about it again. We have to learn to detach ourselves from the outcome. So, there's a whole level of like random and circumstances and all that other stuff that influence the final outcome, but you have to know that you are only in control of the things that you are only in control of. I can control getting up early. I can control my personal development. I can control the number of invitations. I can control, all the things that I'm supposed to do on a daily basis. What I can't control, my kids getting sick, not being able to go to daycare, me not getting time, them waking up 45 times in the middle of the night. I can't control those things. To focus on the things that you can control, and then you just have to forget about the rest. You just have to know, hey, I did my best. I did everything I possibly could, but that's it. Write down the absolute worst possible scenario that you're afraid of. Just write it down. Put it all out there on paper and then read it. And just be like, okay, what's the likelihood that this really would happen? And most of the time, the worst case scenario doesn't even come close. Most of the time, it's not even, a thought, but get it out there. None of the stuff that happened, I could have ever controlled. I couldn't have changed it, but I can control how I'm reacting to all these things now. And what am I going to do about the fact that it's Team Cup month and I need to get my butt in gear and my kids are still sick? Like, those are the things I can control. So I got to wrap my brain around that. We have to wrap our brains around most fear doesn't come true. And honestly, it is pretty irrational. We need to focus on the things that we can control and focus on the positive and focus on the things that you want to happen. Have a great day. Bye.